Could this be the end of Africa's lion in captivity? For years, lions have been the face of African tourism, research, and even conservation efforts. They are the symbol of African wildlife. But now, the very practice that bred them is under threat. A government ban on captive breeding of lions is looming over South Africa's lion industry, an industry that houses approximately 8,000 to 12,000 captive lions across more than 350 breeding facilities. For owners like Willie Jacobs, it is a devastating blow to years of conservation work.
As things stand at the moment, the government has approved the closure of the captive lion industry for various reasons, which puts us in a bit of a predicament because we are not involved in the, let's say, the negative or what the public perceives to be the negative aspects of this industry. And we now face a very difficult situation. Is the government going to give us exemption for the work that we do? And if they do, are they prepared to support us further? Because the government is intent on closing down a lot of the tourism associated with captive lions. And that has basically been the backbone of the financial support that our research has enjoyed.
But what's behind this ban? Why has the government decided to target this industry? And what does it mean for the future of big cats in South Africa? The answer lies in the ethics of the captive lion breeding industry. Conservationists like Fiona Miles, director of FourPaws, have long raised concerns about the conditions in which these lions are kept.
South Africa, being the biggest exporter of big cats and their body parts worldwide, has a huge responsibility to play in the welfare of these animals. We need to take responsibility for the animals that are currently in our care. This means that welfare standards need to be improved. It means that the facilities who currently have these animals need to be held accountable for their welfare. In many cases, FourPaws has seen a complete opposite of this, a lack of welfare being implemented because these animals are merely commodities.
Indeed, South Africa has been identified as a major hub in the lion bone trade, with an estimated 800 lion skeletons exported annually to Asian markets, according to a 2018 traffic report. The government's decision to ban captive breeding was influenced by these arguments. Animal rights organizations claim that the conditions these lions face are unacceptable, with some facilities treating the lions as mere commodities. The key issue here: animal welfare and ethical implications of breeding lions for commercial gain. The ban is meant to end practices associated with canned hunting, a controversial industry worth an estimated $70 million per year, where lions are bred and kept in captivity only to be shot for sport. This decision is not without controversy. Conservationists and research facilities like Ukutula Lodge argue that captive breeding has contributed to important research.
To date, I think we have about 25 different research projects which have research articles which have been published. Very prominent research pertaining to the genetics of the white lion, also the artificial reproductive research that we've been involved in. In 2017, we made history by being the first facility to produce lion cubs through artificial insemination.
However, not everyone believes that captive breeding is the root of the problem. Some argue that well-managed facilities can play a role in ethical conservation efforts, ensuring that animals thrive under human care while contributing to meaningful research.
It's important to have facilities like this that have the amount, the population of animals that we need to have a statistically significant study, and have animals that are human habituated, that don't fear people and are not stressed under captive conditions, because those are the conditions that we need to be able to train them and be able to collect the samples.
Sarah Gonsalves, a cheetah research student, highlights the potential loss of valuable research opportunities if the ban shut down these facilities. Such research is crucial considering cheetahs are listed as vulnerable, with only about 7,100 individuals left in the wild, according to the IUCN. The ban targets the darker side of the captive breeding industry, but it also raises questions about legitimate conservation efforts. Will facilities like Ukutula, which claim to operate ethically, be forced to close? While animal rights activists support the ban, there are concerns that legitimate conservation projects could lose funding. Wild lions are dwindling. The IUCN reports that fewer than 20,000 wild lions are left in Africa, and their numbers are declining due to habitat loss, human conflict, and poaching. With captive lions facing scrutiny, questions arise. Is captive breeding a solution or part of the problem? For those who work with these lions every day, the ban could be life-changing. Lion handler Asini Sanadi shares the personal impact.
Yeah, unfortunately, I will say they will be killing the whole life of my colleagues and other staff members, because I can say my life is almost like right here, where with what I'm doing now. If I had no love or doing this with this, I could not able to be to where I'm standing now. Yeah, so they're already going to kill myself and my colleagues and other staff members. I cannot mention by the number, but it's quite going to be a very hectic thing to handle. Yeah, we need something which is tangible also to help us to try to stop this, because as soon this is going to happen, then this is, I can say, the dead end of my life.
For these workers, this is not just about lions, it is about their future. They depend on the industry for survival, and the government's decision could have far-reaching consequences. So what's the way forward? Conservationists argue that legitimate research like groundbreaking work done at Ukutula Lodge must continue. The challenge is finding a balance between ending unethical practices and supporting genuine efforts to preserve lion populations. There are lessons to be learned from other countries that have implemented stricter regulations on captive breeding. For example, Botswana banned trophy hunting in 2014 to protect wildlife populations, though it was partially lifted in 2019 due to human-wildlife conflicts. This highlights the complexity of wildlife management and the need for nuanced solutions. Could a similar balanced approach work in South Africa?
Many diseases of wildlife that need to be researched, and it's extremely difficult to do it outside captive animals. The advantage also of captive animals is you can have a disease-free population. So we can study the diseases of the ones in the wild in contrast to what goes on in a facility like this.
The fight to protect South Africa's lion is far from over. As the debate over captive breeding continues, one thing is clear. The future of lion conservation depends on finding solutions that protect both the animals and the people who dedicate their lives to them. This is Ifeoluwa Daniel reporting on the future of lion conservation.